It's 1 month since the new Trackmania was released, and I will try to recap what the major storylines and the main takeaways from this first month has been like. But I have covered this game for 2 years. I've never been more busy than I've been this first month of this new game. So, if you think I will try to, or if you think I will be able to recap everything, I think you think too highly of me. But I will try, and if I miss out on anything, well, let me know in the comment section below. The most important thing is the thing I will start with first is the amount of players that actually played this game. July 8th, Hillis posted on Twitter that this game had more players than Trackmania 2 Stadium ever had. It had 5 times more than Trackmania Turbo had at the same date, and it also had more players than Trackmania Nations Forever had the first week of release. So it's safe to say that this game had a successful release and a historic release. I don't know how this game did the first month. Hillis has not updated on Twitter anymore about the players' numbers, but I can only imagine that it's still the most successful release. But that is something I will try to bring up in a future interview with Hillis or someone else from Ubisoft Nadeo. The biggest reason for this, at least in my eyes, is that you had a lot of big streamers showcasing this game. Jackmania has been many times and multiple times among the top 10 most watched games on Twitch, and the reason for this is simply by having big streamers that can pull in massive numbers. XQC, Lyric, and Sodopopim being maybe the three big ones, at least from the international speaking part of the scene, all from North America. So that is good to see. But what is sad to see is that they don't play it anymore. I don't know when the last time they went live with Trackmania was, but they were pretty active the first week and maybe the days after the first week. But then they stopped. I don't know if they had enough fun in Trackmania, if they didn't find new content to actually find funny to stream, to actually grow on. Maybe the campaign was fun, but not fun after 2 weeks. So I hope that there is an opportunity for the streamers to actually showcase this game in another way. I mentioned Twitch Rivals, also Spam brought it up, like in my interview with him, that Twitch Rivals could actually be something. Imagine having 16 streamers and then them being coached by professional players. Or something else just related to streamers having battle against each other so they can actually have fun and then also showcasing this game. So it's a perfect marketing platform, it's a perfect entertainment platform because we saw how much fun XQC and Lyric had once they played all 25 campaign maps. Lyric taking it 14 to 11, so it was somewhat close and it was a lot of fun. You also had Soda Pop and XQC having 1 versus 1. So these players like to compete against each other. I just think you need to aim them towards some sort of competitions and to try to help them, because if you help them, the return you will get is so much bigger than what you help them with. And of course, you cannot mention streamers in Trackmania without bringing up Zerator, without bringing up the French community. They are still the biggest scene in the game. They are still the biggest country in this game, and that continue also the first month. Zerator being the most watched streamer, also having the highest peak. So the king of streaming in Trackmania is still Zerator. But something I didn't expect is maybe the success all these players had. Namely, the top players. You have like example of Pack, didn't stream a lot before. I think the last stream before the new Jackmania was like 3 years ago, but now he's pretty much streaming at least weekly, maybe every now and then, and having good numbers. So that is really cool to see. I think Circa helped him and having an audience from that. Also the same with Kappa. Streamed maybe more than Pack, at least in Trackmania 2 Stadium, but now he's also pretty active in this new game. But the guy who surprised me the most in the amount of hours he streams is Massa. If you said to me that Massa would be one of the top 10 streamers according to how many hours he streamed, I would never believe you. Massa is kind of a streamer that streams once he wants. It could be like, let's say for GA, he could stream for 1 week, 2 weeks straight before it, but after that, it could be like 1 month until the next stream. But now I think he streamed like 25 days in a row, so that is really cool to see, and it's also insane numbers for Massa. I think he has like 1,400 subs, and he has averaged the same amount of viewers maybe as Riolo Virtual Spam. So he's suddenly becoming up there according to or amongst the international streaming players. But the biggest players once it comes to streams is Carl Jr. Carl Jr. is the second most watched streamer in this new game, at least after the first month, only beaten by Zerator. Insane numbers for the Canadian, and I'm really happy to see that, and hopefully he will also continue to stream as long as he's find this fun and is not somewhat burning him out from the competitive scene. But the three big streamers in Trackmania before was Virtual, was Spam, was Riolo, and they are still big, and they even got bigger. So I'm really happy that the fans of Trackmania that maybe just want to watch Trackmania instead of just play it now have so many opportunities to watch it. There is pretty much every hour of the day there is someone who is good at Trackmania playing Trackmania. So if you just want to watch Trackmania, you can always find someone. And at least in my eyes, the most fascinating thing about Trackmania is watching good players play it. Sure, it's fun to see XQC and Lyric play against each other, but eventually that also becomes somewhat boring because you want to watch the best. You want to watch how far can you go in this game, and that is what these players are showing the audience, and it's showing myself as well. But I think the most important thing about a game release is sure the numbers, but moving forward is how this game actually feels. How happy are the players with the game that was released? I've talked to so many players myself now, and I think the main feedback I have is that this game is the best Trackmania that has ever been released. It feels so good, it feels smooth, it feels somewhat perfect, and that is good. Moving forward, you need a game that motivates players to come back again, because the feeling of the game is in the end the most important reason why you play a game. If you don't have fun playing it, if you feel that there is something wrong, there's easy to just say, okay, I will not play it today, I will play something else. So that is good for esports scene, that is good for the casual scene. Some small problems, some big problems has been brought up, namely, like say the spectator bug was discovered during the Celtic Trackmania Cup. You have some people complaining about the menu that is confusing for new players to figure out what to do in this game, and that is something I think Trackmania had a problem with in the past, and seems like they are continuing to have a problem with. There is maybe too much to do in Trackmania, and for a new player that might be overwhelming. Where do I start? Okay, I can play the campaign, but after I spend enough time on that, where do I continue? What maps should I play on a server, etc., etc. So hopefully that will be fixed maybe in future updates, or at least make easier to understand. There has been some events taking place, but not too many events actually in the first month. I think some people are complaining that there is not enough event at the moment, because we should use the opportunity of the new game hype to actually allow players that are playing during the first week and first month that might not play anymore. We want to have them playing competitions, because competitions is some of the funniest things you can do in Jackmania. But you had some events. You had the Celtic Trackmania Cup, of course, with historic numbers. I made an own video about that, so you can go and check that out. You had Trackmania Grand League had a show match. You had Peaky Arc. So there are events going, but I hope that moving forward there will just be more and more and more events. So eventually there's events to play every day, every time of the hour. Events you can join in just to have fun, and events you can try hard for. So one of the last things I want to talk about is the things that might surprise me the most. It was on Twitter as well from Hillis. Hillis said that the Germans are soon the biggest playing base in Trackmania, only 10% behind France. I expected France to be twice as big as Germany, if not three times as big, but now Germany is catching up and maybe overtaking France at the end of the year. Who knows? But that is really cool to see. Trilix probably the reason or one of the main reasons for it. He's come back to Trackmania, he's showcasing it, he's streaming actively, and of course lot of other streamers as well. So happy to see that the German scene is waking up again, and hopefully that will eventually return into me going to Germany to cover events, because I like France, but I think I've already been there so many times that it's about time that I go to another country. And if you send me to Germany, to Berlin, to Hamburg, anywhere, I will be happy to go there. So that's about the recap part, but now I'll try to preview a little bit about the stories moving forward, because it's just 1 month in this new game, and hopefully this game will have a long, long lifetime. So eventually, let's say in 5 to 10 years, then 1 month is not going to be that important to look back on. So what is going to be important to look forward to? I think, and I brought this up before this game was actually eventually released, is how are we able to keep the players in this game? How are we able to keep them from playing it the first week, first month, to eventually having them play it daily, to play it casually every month, every week? And I still don't feel that I have a confident answer that casual players will stick around in Trackmania. Maybe a good example of that is that you now don't have streamers like XQC and Lyric streaming it anymore. They had fun during the release, but it doesn't seem like they have any reason to have fun anymore. So maybe some sort of indication that this game also has a lack of that in problems. But track of the day is at least something to help with. Maybe the trophy system, once you get a better feeling of that, might help it. But still, I'm not too confident about this game having enough stuff to actually help a casual player find it fun. I mentioned on Twitter that competitive matchmaking is something I want, because then I would play it more, because then I can just play a match, have fun in a match, and then eventually leave, and not feel like I need to hunt every track for, let's say, 2 hours to get somewhat of a better time. But yeah, that is another topic. That is another topic I will probably talk a lot about in the future, because I still believe that is the main reason, or the main reason why Trackmania doesn't have maybe a lot of players in that is sticking around weekly and casually and finding it fun to play every week. So I talked about this recap longer than I expected. I'm tired already, so I guess it's time to end it. But if I missed out on anything, I know I missed out on anything, but if I missed out on any big storylines, feel free to tell me, and I will maybe make my own video about it. Maybe bring it up in a Let's Talk Trackmania or in a Trackmania live with the players, or yeah, just discuss it with you in the comments. Feel free to hit me up. I like to talk Trackmania, and I love to speak with you as well. But that's it for today. Feel free to press like on the video if you liked it, and if you like this channel and if you like me, why don't you press subscribe? That's it for today.